we are very good at linear thinking. What does it mean, linear thinking? For example, if I sit here right now and I tell the listen, guys, I'm sorry, you know, I need to drink and I don't have water. I want to go to the kitchen, and the kitchen is about 30 steps. I have to take 30 steps. You look at me, average height woman. Well, you can say perhaps, you know, perhaps some with some high heels or whatever. And then you say, well, if she has to, or without, or without, and then you say, well, if she has to go 30 steps, what can be the distance till the kitchen? About 30 meters. The hidden assumption here is that every step is similar in size to the previous one and the next one. This is linear thinking. So you're saying, okay, one step is 1 meter, 30 steps, 30 meters. What if I tell you that I have to do 30 exponential steps, meaning 2, 4, 8, 16. What is the distance from between me and my kitchen? Well, I'll tell you, I have to circle the earth 26 times. What is happening right now? We are human, are very good in linear thinking. And linear thinking was a very good tool for a world that is changing in a linear pace. In a world which is being changed and will continue to accelerate. The pace of change is going to accelerate because this is exponential age right now, meaning we have to rewire our mind to adopt, because technology evolves in exponential phase, okay? And we are linear thinking. So this is really the difference, I think, between people who really can understand the opportunity of what is lying ahead, and I'll show you in a second what do I mean. So right now...
But Yahli, is there people like currently that you're talking about that they have exponential thinking?
It's beyond, it's exponential thinking. Exponential thinking meaning, okay, meaning that, you know, I'm going to give it to you an example and then you'll see, okay? I want to show you how it looks. What is exponential change look like, okay? Okay, oh, sorry. It's supposed to be here. Where is it? It's not working. Why it's not working? Here, okay. Look about China. What happened to China in 23 years? This is China. Look how quickly it changes. Okay? In 20 years. If we would have been traveling to China in 2000, you know how many percent were of the population were with middle income? About I think 13%. It got up to more than 51% in 15 years. Never in the history of the world we haven't seen such a move. You know, such an elevation of people from poor state to medium. You know, for decent living. It never happened ever. So this is Shanghai. I don't want to talk about New York right now. I want to explain what does it mean. When you understand that you can work in exponential pace, in 10 years, you're going to be 1,000 times better. In 20 years, you're 1,000,000 times better. In 30 years, you're 1,000,000,000 times better. We are not used to thinking in those terms. We are not used to thinking in terms that everything is possible. And the essence of exponential thinking is that if you do something in an exponential pace and you do it good, this is where you're going to get. And this is what's happening to technology. So I think right now, this is a broad thought. It is nothing. It's more than what we are talking about right now. The main challenge now of humanity is to move from linear thinking to exponential thinking. Because usually when we are thinking about a problem or a situation, because we are used to linear thinking, well, if there is a problem, we'll say, well, even if we use this solution, we won't solve it. No. You know, the price of solar energy dropped 50 times in the last 40 years. But until the last 5 drops, it didn't make a difference because still it was more expensive than, you know, the traditional options. But once they hit, you know, a certain point, as we talked about yesterday, remember the zero principle, then everything is going to change. So you must, and this is, I'm very serious right now. When you go into your company and work, and when you're around the table and you're discussing a solution and how it's going to contribute to you, you should ask yourself whether this is a linear solution or is it exponential solution? And are you thinking about it in linear methods or in exponential? This is crucial. I'm very serious. If you don't even remember anything from what I'm saying today, this is crucial. I really, really want you to understand that. Okay? So this is the first one. Sorry, what?
No, I'm just wondering who is leading this kind of thinking? Is it learned in school? Who is like how it's gonna happen?
Do you think you can keep the questions until I finish, because it's very hard for me, because it's okay, or you sure. I'm not insulting you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Now, why it's so important? Because if right now we are entering about this, and you heard me saying it twice, third time, and so forth, to an age of disruptive technologies, which are going to change everything we know, and these technologies are progressing in exponential pace. So we won't be able to capture. We simply won't be able to capture what's the capabilities. And one note regarding yesterday's work, when I thought about it at night, I thought you're not taking seriously the idea that you must think about what you can do with technology. Because when all of you were talking, you weren't referring to any of those technology as a tool that you can use in order to solve the problems or to tackle the opportunities. So disruptive thinking, first tool. Second tool, or the second question, can I use any kind? So first question always is, am I thinking about this in a linear fashion or exponential fashion? Is the solution is linear or exponential? Second question you must ask yourself, can I use any of these 15, disruptive technology to solve the problem or, tackle the opportunity? And then the third question should be, is there a way to converge, between those technology? This is the third question that you must ask yourself, okay? And I want to show you, for example, right now. The construction industry is the largest in the world. I think it's about I don't recall whether it's $9 trillion. Forgive me if I'm wrong in 1 trillion. But right now, when you look worldwide, all the walls are being built in the same way. But what's happening right now is that we are capable of taking concepts from biology, blend them with chemistry, use the law of physics to create total different materials from which we are going to build the buildings. So there are going to be so many combinations that we never had. We are going to have roads that are going to repair themselves if there is a problem. There are going to be walls that are going to be a source of energy. Okay? We are going to have doors and internal part of the room that we will be able to redesign. The wall will not stay in the same place. I can get up in the morning and says, I want this wall to move, and I'm going to have a remote and it will move, because today I have guests and nothing will happen. How is it going to be? So I think you must use your imagination. I think the worst part that is happening to most of us is that all of us are being born with a lot of imagination, but the process of studying and learning the way it's being done worldwide, it's not only in Israel, we are being asked in a sense to put our imagination aside and to use only logic. And I think the coming era is going to be totally different, because it's going to be a combination of imagination and rationality. Okay, so I'm just giving you just an example because I'm working right now a lot in the construction. Somehow I got to this situation. So anything, you think about, like, IKEA. We are not far from the situation that you will buy something from IKEA, and instead of looking at, they give all those brochure that you have to know how to use. I never know, okay? Or you ask them to send someone, right? What if I tell you that IKEA is not far from a situation that you simply open the box, okay? And the parts can assemble themselves. It's called 4D printing, when time is a variable. So you must start using your imagination. How can we use all these different methods? We are waiting right now to 500 to 1,000 new materials that we never had, which are going to be totally combinations, okay? So this is just to give you an idea, what does it mean to think about a combination of the different technologies. Going out of Earth, for example, or how are we going to use, robots? I mean, robots are going to be a part of our life. Are you sure that you're speaking right now to me, or is it a robot that represents me? How can you be sure? Can you be sure right now? Is it me, or is it my significant robot? Aaron, what do you think? You think it's me? Okay.
I hope so.
You hope so, okay. So and I want to show you how it's going to be. It's not, I would say, just, a virtual concept that has nothing to do with real life. It's very pragmatic. If I put right now on the table the question, would you acquire a company that has no profit, is dealing with multiply lawsuits, and not related to your core business? The answer seems clear, right? Of course not. Who needs it? I have enough problems in my business. Why should I do it? Okay, the business was bought for $1.7 billion, and it's YouTube. And today, I don't recall the number, but of course it's much higher. Okay, just to give you an idea. Why? Because when you have exponential thinking, when you understand the power of disruptive technology and how can you use it, you look beyond the here and now. You're not caught, your thinking is not being caught in the short term. You can look much further. Just to give you another example. Okay, would you acquire a company that has no profit again, has no product, has no clients? It's only like 4 or 5 years old, if I'm not mistaken, that time. This is DeepMind. It was bought by Google for $500 million. It's still not making profits, still losing money. Now they have many products, but they are going to change the world in many, many senses. They are right now creating new methods of using AI for deep analysis in medicine, for managing energy, for recapturing, assessing any kind of, I would say, weather hazard that's going to be like typhoon and so forth. So this is a company that when it was bought by Google, they knew that it will take another 10 years that they will make a profit. But when they start, it's going to be immense. And I want to remind all of us that Amazon wasn't making a penny for a long time. A long time. And I want to remind you that Tesla, until I think 5 or 4 years ago, was considered, you know, a very, very risky, I'm sorry, I'm just closing it, a very, very risky business. People thought Tesla will never earn $1, 1 cent. Do you know that? Now it's one of the most important manufacturers of a vehicle in the world. So the other issue is to adopt the long view. You can't create something which is sustainable, which is worthwhile, which is going to have immense impact on the world and also become a legendary company if you're only focusing on the short term. Okay. Are we okay till now? Question till now before I proceed? Can stop for a second. Any questions or should I proceed?
You can proceed.
Okay. Okay. So this was, I would say these were mega tools that you must all the time. Listen, do it if you're sitting in a bus and you're thinking about, I don't know, there is a billboard. Take every minute you have and use it for exercising. Ask yourself, okay, what would I do with this wall if there wouldn't have been a billboard? What if I would have been the one that paid for this billboard? What should I do differently in order to convey the messages? And so use anything, any experience you're having in life to ask yourself those questions. Am I thinking about it in linear or exponential? Okay, am I thinking long-term or short-term? Am I thinking about how can it being done totally differently and solve it or, or improve it with the technologies and so forth? Just do it all the time. It's a question of habit. Everybody can acquire it. Listen, I think all of us are capable of doing much more than we do. I do believe that. And the only thing we should do is understand what are the tools and exercise. That's all. Okay, now I want to teach you a little bit about, it's a concept that I think I created that called disruptive thinking. And what I did is that I collected few methods of thinking which I think are crucial for anyone who wants to be involved in any kind of decision-making in the process. So the first one is what we call first principle thinking. Anyone familiar with the term? Did you hear it ever? Okay. The person who is most known for this kind of thinking is Elon Musk. I don't know whether you know, but he learned physics, I think in Harvard. And this is one of the methods that is highly used in physics. And it's really going back and asking, what is the initial problem? And if you take any kind of project that Elon Musk is involved in, you can see that what he's doing is applying all the time, in each situation, first principle thinking. And I want to give you an example. I'll give you an example regarding that, but I want to talk first about the, the concept of electric car, okay? You see this was the electric car of the past. It was, I think, ugly. I hope I'm not insulting anyone. It wasn't convenient. You could drive it for 5 kilometers. And it took a long, long time to, to charge it. So if you would have asked anyone like 20 years ago, would you like to have an electric car? It would have sounded like, you know, you're not taking me seriously. And it used to be a car, as people used to say, for tree huggers, okay? So when Elon Musk decided that he wanted to take by storm and change, but completely disrupt the automobile, the vehicle market, because this is the first, because, and the reason was he was looking for ways to keep, you know, a Mother Earth and dealing with the climate crisis. He says, well, the first problem, of course, is using a vehicle and using, you know, fossil fuels. So he said, why people, he asked the question, why people are not buying electric car? He says, and he understood that if you won't change the image of the electric car, people will not buy it. So this is first principle. What is the root cause of this issue, of this problem? So when he got out, and I want to remind you that Tesla exists only 15 years, that's all. So what was the first car? He took, I think it was a Lotus, if I'm not mistaken, but if I'm mistaken, as his I would say, source of inspiration. And this was the first car. This was the first electric car that Tesla came out with. It was expensive. It was, I think, about $130,000, but it has the same power of McLaren. And as you know, McLaren is one of the best racing car in the world. So look at these pictures. This is the old metaphor of what it is to have an electric car, and this is the new one. If you have to choose right now between the two of them, who would you choose? So what he did, in one action, he totally upside down, reversed the way we think about electric car. And if you ask anyone who has a Tesla, and I won't go deep right now into the Tesla because it's a whole, I can speak about Tesla for 3 hours, if not more than that. He continue all the time to improve Tesla, right? And when you speak to people who have Tesla, I don't know whether you're aware of it. Last week, I think they had they created a new method of safety and security, and it's again being seen as the previous, perceived as the highest one in terms of safety and security, and with gap between all the competitors. So
maybe we should use in Innoviz.
Wonderful.
From yesterday.
Wonderful. So think about that. So for example, when we talked about yesterday, Aaron, when we talked about the fact that we have a problem that male in the Haredi community are taking a lot of responsibility in the household, and this prevents them to create for them, you know, a meaningful source of income and enjoy, you know, this, you know, creation part of their life. Well, I would go and ask, what is the main problem? Okay. The other thing he did, I want to give you another example. You know, when he was in the university, my mentor, Peter Diamandis, created the first university for space. It was for students. That is the additional two co-founders were Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And I don't know whether you know, but Jeff Bezos always said, I'm going to make a lot of money in Amazon and I'm going to take it in order to create for us an alternative in space. So, but what Elon Musk did, he asked himself, why can't we conquer space? And the answer he came with is that because every time we are creating a spaceship, how many times do we use it? You know, How many times we used to use it?
Only once.
Once. You remember, think about the fact that you are going to go on a vacation, you know, hopefully soon. Doesn't matter, to Paris, London, wherever, Lisbon, New York. And a minute after you landed, the captain says, we landed, blah, blah, blah. Now, please make sure that you took all your belongings, because we are taking the plane and we are crashing it right now into the sea. Okay? You would have thought that it's insane, right? Why then isn't it, we don't think it's insane to do it with spaceship? When we're thinking about abnormalities, you remember from yesterday? Abnormalities that become norms, this is it. So Elon Musk said, until I'll find a way that I can reuse, okay, the spaceship the same way we do with planes, we will never be able to conquer space. So he went further, and what did he do? He changed the materials, he changed the structures, but what else did he do? I want to show you again the film. He changed the team who was landing the spaceship. What do you think was the difference? What the team is built of today in comparison to what was done like until now? It's not human. It's AI. AI, okay, a computer is the one that is taking off, and it's an AI, a computer, which is in charge of landing. Look, did you see how beautiful was the landing? See it again. See how accurate it was. We will never, ever let anyone, no human, even not school, look, what's his name? From Star Trek, to do that. Because once you have the idea, okay, what did he look? He says, what is the, according to Fred, the main problem? What is that I should tackle? And then what he did, he used the disruptive technology to create a solution. I know it's very hard right now, and it seems to you as if I'm talking in a language that you've never heard, but I can assure you, all of you are capable. It's simply training, training, and training. And it might be sometimes easier to work in groups, in teams to do that, okay? Another time that he used it, I'm not sure I have it here. I want to tell you, no, I don't have the slide because I don't want to put too many slides on Elon Musk, but did you hear about the Boring company that he created? Okay.
The what? The what? Boring company?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, right now he's not there, but now I think he's living in Texas, but he used to live in LA. And the distance between his home and his office was like, I think, 2 kilometers. But then every day, because there is such a heavy traffic, it took him like 2 hours to get to the office. So he put on, just a second, he put on a Twitter saying that he's sick of this, and he's going to create a boring company, meaning, boring, meaning, taking the sand, the soil out, and he will create a tunnel that he will use in order to get to the office. And everybody thought that he was joking, but he wasn't. He wasn't. So he started doing it, and now many cities are asking him to create for them. So you take your car and you go down and you simply cut off all the traffic jam. But when he started working on it, even though the distance was short, do you know how much money was supposed to cost this boring, solution? Any idea? It was supposed to cost about $1 billion. Very expensive. What did he do? Do you know what is the most expensive part when you create a boring whatever? Any idea? He's taking out the soil. So instead of taking out the soil, he created a factory downstairs, and he's using the soil that he's moving, okay, to create bricks with which he built the tunnel. Unbelievable, right? First principle thinking is, I think, a radical tool to change whatever you're thinking about. We are okay? I can continue? Yeah? Okay. Another disruptive thinking methods, I call it redefining the problem. And I'll do it very quickly now. I want to introduce you to Jim Allison. I don't know whether you know, but Jim Allison, he was the winner of the Nobel Prize 2 years ago. He looks like a butcher. He's a very nice guy. And when he was interviewed, he said that most disease, pisses him off. Pisses him off. But cancer really, really gave me the grip. Why? Because he lost his mother, his brothers, and so on when he was young. And he and a small group of people 40 years ago had this radical, stupid, amazing, whatever you want to, call it, any kind of adjective is okay, to take out the T cells, put them in the lab, learn them how to fight the cancer, and put them in. This is a method that's called immunotherapy. And for many years, they didn't succeed. So what he did, they didn't understand why it's not working. And what he did, because what happened is that he saw that every time he took a T cell and put it back, and the T cell recognized that it's a cancer cell, instead of running towards him and killing it, he was stopping. He says, and everybody says, what should we do? So let's think about this problem in a metaphor of a car. We have the gas, right? And we have the stop. How do you say the stop? Brakes. So for many years, from I think three decades, most of the researchers were thinking about the fact. So they said, if the T cell stops when you see the cancer cell, perhaps we need to take back the brakes so it won't stop. Okay? Sorry. All of them said, sorry. I miss presenting it. All of them saying, so if he's stopping, let's put more on the gas, right? If we put more gas, in a car, you want to progress, you want to move forward, you press more, right? You accelerate. We'll put on. And the more they did it, you know what happened? The T cell went backwards. Instead of progressing, they went backward, and they didn't know what. And Allison came with the concept that the issue is that the T cell is so wise that he knows that if you're pushing, it's not a good thing. So he said, what instead of putting all our resources in trying to find a way to push more on the gas, we will find some chemical ways to teach the T cell to lift off the brakes. Meaning he reframed the problem. As well as I did, as you recall, I told you yesterday with the tanks, you remember that I told you with the tanks? You remember that I told you that it's the same thing. It's not easy. In many ways, it's even harder, I think, than principle one. Reframing the problem, you must come with, I would say, naivete of a child, and to try to look at the problem from a total different angle. And here I must tell you something personal. I think that once you get the concept that you're probably wrong most of the time, and you probably know very little, then you're becoming better in first principle thinking and also with reframing the problem. There is a very good book, and there are some lectures about it. I urge you all to read it, called Think Again. It was written during the corona, the first year of the corona. Now we're still in the corona. Wrote it a guy called Adam Grant. He's a psychologist. He's I think is like one of the most important people in the world under the age of 40, even though I think he's now more than aged like all of us. But he created a very good book which says you always have to question the way you think. Once you renounce the idea that you are right, you're probably going to be much more successful in looking at things from very different angles. Okay, can I continue? We are okay?
Yes.
Okay. Another method of disruptive thinking is this is something, a concept which my teacher, Edie Weiner, which is a great woman. Unfortunately, she's not teaching anymore. She's like 90 years old. She wants to enjoy life. I'm sorry she doesn't want to teach us anymore. But she came with a very interesting notion. She came up with a notion that, she says it this is what she says. The concept is like that. In a beginner's head, there are many options. In the expert mind, there is only one option. She says, and all of us are suffering from what she called educated incapacity, meaning we know too much about what we know. So it's hard for us to see other alternatives. So she says there are only two species that that are not suffering from this. One is children. So right now we have a baby in the class. I think we should learn from him. The other one is alien. And she was relating to, there was a very interesting film that was done, I think in the 50s or 60s. And she says that an alien was sent to Earth to learn about us, human beings and what's happening here. So when he reports back to his lieutenant, and he's being asked, okay, so who is the most important creature, on Earth? He says, well, it's something that is called the car. He says, what is it? He says, well, it's a metal thing, and he has 4 wheels, and usually he has 2 servants. So this one of them is a man. He's taking it every day to the parking lot to play, and then he goes into an office to earn money to pay for the car. And the car is very hungry on the way to home, so he stops, and the car likes to drink something which is called gasoline. And then he goes home, and then he puts her in a nice place, and he cover it and go to sleep, so we'll have energy to go and take care of the car tomorrow morning. Nice, right? So, okay, just a second, sorry. כן. אין בעיה, תשלחו, אני פשוט באמצע הרצאה, כל מי שמגיע שישאיר ליד הדלת, בסדר? סליחה. טוב? תודה, ביי. סליחה, אני מתנצלת. I'm sorry, my secretary is not working because it's Friday. So, Another example, of course, is where really is the source of knowledge? Is it, us, the very important people that thinks we know? Or is it children? And do you know the story about Ken Robinson? Unfortunately, he passed away last year. He has this beautiful story about a child which is sitting in the kindergarten, and the teacher is calling everybody to lunch, and she says, "Anna, please come. We need to go to lunch." She says, "Yeah, but I'm just drawing right now." "What are you drawing?" "I have to finish the drawing right now." She says, "Why do you have to finish the drawing?" I says, "Well, because this is a drawing of God eating lunch with us." So the teacher says, "Listen, but no one knows how God looks like, right?" She says, "Well, that's good. So in a few minutes, they will know." So the minute you understand that knowledge is everywhere, the question is, are you open enough to learn? If you're changing your mind and you understand that everyone can be a teacher in one way or the other, then you're surrounding with the world of wisdom. Are we capable of doing it? Not. But the alien who is listening to everybody saying to his lieutenant, the children were saying the most interesting thing. They know much more about the world. They are curious. They don't have preconceptions. They are investigating. They're searching for answers. They're not willing to accept only shallow answers and so forth, okay? So, and anyone who has a child, right, knows that. So the third example I'm going to give you regarding the alien, after our dearest Edie Weiner, well, he's sitting with some people and he said, let's say during the corona or before that, he says, why don't you do all your shopping online? And they said, no, we want to go to the shop. Why do you want to go to the shop? And the people answer, because there is a dressing room. So in his head, a dressing room is what you see here on the right. You see beautiful, beautiful spaces. You can sit, relax, drink something, good music. You have a lot of space to put your things right now. And how really our dressing rooms look like? Like it's on the right? No place. Any woman that ever was buying in Zara, we always have to look whether we have our purse with us, right? That no one is entering. We are running for the mirror, which is over there because we can't see in the mirror inside all the body and so forth. So the essence of what I'm trying to say right now is, can you try to think about anything from a child perspective, from an alien perspective? Okay, so this is another method that I think we should know. The other method is asking a more beautiful question. What is happening to us usually when we sit in a room and we are supposed to ask questions? Well, we have a nice question and then a better question, and then we have a very good question, and then we stop. Usually if we don't stop, if we push ourselves further, then we are going to get, into a much nicer question. And I keep telling you, questions are going to be much more important than answers in the coming future. And the only way to use a good answer in the future is not going to use it to get and create a conclusion. The best way to use a good answer or a perfect answer or an incredible answer in the future is to use it to create a better question. This is crucial because questions help us insist in framing. So let's give you an example. If you had these questions, how do you build a large golf course on a small island? Any idea?
Maybe you can do it in levels.
Very
Maybe.
good. Yeah.
And you can just build another island beside the island.
Very good, Gam. Very good idea as well. More idea? Both, these are very good ideas. More ideas?
Build a VR golf course.
Wonderful idea. Great. Using technology, very good one. Okay, what they came up, this was a real problem for a constructor. And what he did is simply minimized. He created the miniature one. So it's a reverse, it was a reversing, but it is a very good one. So what we're saying, what?
No, I'm just kidding. We can see it here in apartment in Tel Aviv. But okay.
You're right. So what is important is really looking for beautiful questions, okay? It's because once you insist on finding better questions, you're shifting your perception and thinking, okay? It's a wonderful tool. And it doesn't matter, I'm telling you, it's such a good tool. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about your personal life, your professional life, business dilemma. Always ask yourself, is this the right question? Okay? Okay, it's really becoming an adventure. It's like, getting lost, which is a beautiful way to find new things, okay? So I'm just telling you this. So I want to give you some examples from the business, from the business world, okay? Okay. Netflix, before it was online, it was a company like a Blockbuster, they were sending, the videotapes, you recall that, to everybody's place. And what Blockbuster used to do is to charge you horrible fees for late. I mean, you took the film, you were supposed to return it on Friday, but you return it a week later, so you have to pay a double. So Netflix, in the beginning, they were copying. You remember yesterday, I gave you some hints. Find differentiation. Don't try to compete with Matrix, okay? Don't try, okay? Or the company that was creating this beautiful nature solutions for wounds and so forth, but they were trying to appear like scientific, and they lost the essence of being natural and so forth. I'm just giving this an example, okay? So they asked themselves, should we continue and do what Blockbuster are doing? What is going to happen if we will not ask our customer to pay for late fees? Okay? So what happened to them? Netflix became, even before they were online, much stronger than Blockbuster. Okay. Pandora, they asked, what if we could map the DNA of music? And it takes them, I think, 12 years of struggles, if I'm not mistaken, until they became such a success. And then a very, very ancient company, which the son of the creator of the company, okay, asked his father, Father, Dad, why do we have to wait until the picture is being produced? Polaroid. 3 companies. What if? What if? What if we could have find a solution that all men in Haredic society had the ability to go to work and not to worry about their children? What if? What if the companies that is dealing with the radar and so forth, sensor, sorry, not only would like to find ways to decrease the price, which is it's a half of a very good solution, but also can find a way to improve the customer journey? What if? Always when you think that you got the best answer. Try to see what is the treasure, a hidden treasure, which is really a more beautiful question. Okay? Okay. Okay, I just want to continue. Okay, I want to continue because we are in slide, oh my God. 32 out of 80. So, okay, can I continue, guys? Or you want 5 minutes to break?
What was the slide with Instagram, WhatsApp, and Spotify that you just like, yeah, Uber, Airbnb?
There were companies that were born out of questions.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so let's fight 5 minutes because I know it's a lot of information, but no more than 5, okay?
Okay.
Grab a coffee and come back in 5 minutes.
Thanks.
Okay? Okay, 5 minutes. Okay. It's consistent. Oh, good. Oh, I forgot to put it on. Aaron, what would I do without you? So the question is right now, if everything is changing, the question right now is any of these changes represent an emerging opportunity for me? And I'm going to show you a few things, okay? Digital wallets. Once the smartphone, became the hub of everything that we do, why can't we put money in it? So right now we know that digital wallets are taking off, and especially after the corona, because we were all told, right? I'm just putting it so that it's going to be quiet. I don't know why it's not working. No, it's working. So the question is, of course, can my business, and it doesn't matter which business, can use the concept of digital wallet? Angela from A16Z, which is Anderson Horowitz firm, which is, I think, the most important VC in the world, at least in my opinion, or at least one of the few that are leading the world, got on the stage at 2019. She was in a room with about 100 people. She asked them, how many people here are working in finance institutions? About a third raised their hands. She looked at the other 66% and told them, listen, and this was the phrase, even if you want change your working place, even if you want change the category you're working in, if we'll sit here in 5 years and I'll ask you who is giving financial services, all of you are going to raise hands. Why? Because the digital wallets give us another layer, okay, because of course, technology, to give financial solution for anything our consumer needs. So are we right now in any business that we are working, are we looking at it? Are we asking ourselves, is there a way to add another layer of digital solutions for our clients that will enhance their satisfaction, will deepen their loyalty, will give us edge in comparison to the competitors and so forth, and a source of income? Are we asking this question? Okay. Well, Facebook, of course, asked this question when he tried to create Libra, and now they're trying to recreate something else, but the same concept. Okay. He says, how can, because he knows that he's running into a lot of problem right now, and there is going to be a lot of censorship on Facebook, rightly so. But he thought, okay, how can I monetize, the 2.5 billion people that are living on Facebook? So then he says, well, I'm going to create for them, a digital wallet and a digital crypto asset or whatever. And that I'm going to monetize, because perhaps I won't be able to do it from commerce and from selling, my user information, which he's doing all the time, of course. Okay. So definitely Facebook is a good example of asking this question. Doesn't matter that, he has such serious perception, his image and perception is so negative, so no one was willing to let him go into the fintech, into the finance sector. But the question was right. And the solution was right. The problem that he is not the one that can really put it on the table right now, okay? So just to give you the idea, what we are talking about, and this is only United States. So can my business be connected to any kind of digital world? How can I use it? This is just to give you an example. Another example regarding emerging opportunities. We know that we are going to move from one interface to another. Okay, we started with the PC, we went to the Web 1, Web 2, mobile, and right now we know that in the 5 coming years we're going to move to extended reality, which is going to include into immersive experience, which include physical world, augmented world, and virtual world on the same device. Are we preparing for that? How can we use it to our advantage? Does it mean that there is going to be another way to communicate with our consumers? Can we communicate differently in order to create a different experience? Can we use it to learn more about our customers than what we know right now? How can we use the blockchain to secure the information? How can we use blockchain to increase the value that our customers and clients are having from our products and so forth? Can we use IoT? So if this is going to be, okay, Web 3, and this is going to be the consumer interface, but these are the layers beneath it, are we looking at it and asking ourselves, how can we use it? So this means really looking at micro trends and micro trends in different directions. But I put 2 things which are coming, of course, from the technology side, but have much greater or much more larger implication that just, another device or another tool. Okay, so just to give you an idea. So just give you an example, this company, Mind and Body, well, this is a company that is assisting, it's a company that started as assisting owner of studios, of, small studios of ballet, dancing, and yoga, and so forth, to run I would say, the accounting. But now, when I'm there, can I also assist with booking, the meetings of the clients? Can I give the small businesses loans because I know their cash flow and I know how much money they put in and how much, and are they growing or not? Okay, or Spotify. But I want to talk about Midtown. Do you know about Midtown? Do you know this company?
No.
Okay. I want to explain to you how it went with Midtown. Midtown started as a company, a food delivery company. What usually is typical to this kind of companies is that they are heavy on of staff. You have to have many people working for you. Okay, the promise is that you deliver the food, which is fresh, hot, in a price point which is relevant to your clients. And the service should be, besides accurate, and also the food should be delivered, and besides the fact that it's still hot and fresh, it wanted to be tidy, clean, and so forth.
Yahli.
So what?
But didn't Midtown got slapped with a lawsuit and a fine or something?
No. Let me explain the principle, okay? No, I wouldn't worry about Midtown, not at all. So it is a Chinese company. And what happened is that they went to a price point. Do you know how much a delivery in the States is about? How the average food delivery in the States, the price of it? Anyone has an idea? Okay, it's about $7. They got to a price of 70 cents. So they started and they accumulated because it was so cheap. So what happened is they started with 1 million, 2 billion, because it's a Chinese market, it's a huge market. And what happened? They simply changed the eating habits of the Chinese because it got so cheap, because the price of the food from the restaurant was reasonable. And, they don't have to invest because, they're working right now very hard because the You know, everybody are moving from poverty to the middle level in China. So middle income, so everybody are working very hard. And women are also working very hard. So wonderful. We don't have to cook. We get the food we want. It's very cheap, and we don't have to worry too much about the service, how much it costs. And so we are very happy with it. So this was the first phase. So but this is not the interesting part. Because I got used, if I'm a Chinese woman, and now I started using Midtown. In the beginning, I used it, you know, once a week, and then I thought that it's so good. So I used it twice a week, and then three times a week. And then I find myself, you know, that between 4 or 5 times a week, I use Midtown. What is happening to me as a consumer? I'm developing trust in the company. So right now, Midtown, you know, they earn very, I mean, the revenues is growing because, you know, you have a bigger audience, but the profit is very small, right? Okay. So they're working with many clients, giving service to a mass. They are growing very quickly thanks to network effect, but the revenues are very small. But then they use the asset which is intangible, of the trust of the consumers to do something totally different. One day, me, the Chinese woman, when I opening the Midtown app to order my food, there is an announcement. If you're planning to go overseas for a vacation, why won't you book with us your flights and your hotels? I have such big faith and belief in, I would say, the transparency of Midtown, their honesty, their loyalty to me, the fact that they do take care very good of me. So I say, okay, why won't I try it once? And again, the service is great. So what they're doing is that they are flipping the business proposal, and they're moving from, you know, very low, you know, daily routine service with huge amount of users, but the profits is very low, to a high margin market, which is being used not very frequently, not very regularly, but even if it's once a year or twice a year, it's the high margin market. So they are using this intangible asset, which is the client trust, to create a different kind of business. And within 3 years, they replaced the leader of the market. Amazing, right? Then I think they were bought by WeChat, or the other company, but one of the two big companies in China. But that is it. So just look at it. Very, very creative. Okay. So, and this is, of course, what we call the super app, okay? So Uber, we know, I don't want to go now into Neonable because we don't have enough time and we're running out of time. But look what happened with Uber. For example, right now, during the corona, Uber created a service of getting vaccination at home. So you don't have to go to the clinic where you're afraid to sit with all these people that you don't know whether they, infected with corona. No, we send you a nurse home. She comes to your home. And then she gives you the certificate, and now you're okay. Think about it. And for that, I'm willing to pay much more than for any usual Uber, right? Because this is a premium service. Okay. So I want to go further because I want to now explain to you about what I think for me is, are we okay? Can I go on? Guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Now I want to talk about client-based innovation. What does it mean? 20 years ago or 30 years ago, this was what students in MBA used to learn. Do you know this model?
Oh, yeah.
Too well.
Okay.
Too well. Porters
Wonderful.
and SWOT was like part of our main subject in this MBA.
What? Anyway.
Learn SWOT. So SWOT and Porter,
Okay.
SWOT and Porter.
Okay, this is a total irrelevant concept in my belief, in my opinion.
Classic.
What are you saying?
You're right, it's classic. It's irrelevant model, but
No,
they
it's
teach
like
us.
the Mona Lisa. It's like
Yes.
the Mona Lisa. It's good
Tell
to go
to the
and look at it.
university. Tell to the university.
Well, this is not my role, unfortunately, but as you know, but it's irrelevant because right now, what is happening, this model is definitely a good model to what? To a linear market and to a linear change. It's totally irrelevant when we are talking about exponential changes because due to the fact that we have technology, that we can embrace, it's not so hard to be a competitor. You can create a startup. Do you know that creating a startup at 20,000, in the beginning of this century, do you know how much it used to cost? It used to cost $5 million. Do you know how much it costs 13 years later? To start an online company from your bedroom. At 2013, it cost only $5,000. And of course, it's dropping. Okay, so this is just just to give you an idea, this is a totally irrelevant, in my opinion, model. So what we are moving totally to what we call the arena model. The arena model was, I think, created by Mary, I forgot her name. She wrote also a very good book called The End of Competitive Advantage. She's a teacher, I think, in the business school or whatever in London. But I like this because she says you must focus on the consumer, the need and the solution. And I want to take a very classic story that everybody are talking about, and I want to put on the table the interpretation of my dear mentor, Peter Diamandis. Everybody are talking about Kodak and what they're all the time talking about what? About the fact that Kodak missed what? The opportunity to embrace the new technology, right?
Right.
Right. So you remember yesterday, we talked about asking the question, what is the reason for your existence? You remember we talked about that? What do you think was the role of Kodak in the life of its users? What do you think it is? What do you think it was? They thought they're in the business of chemicals and cameras. But in the inner world of the clients and the consumers, they were a vehicle that they applied in order to what? To create memories. If we would have sitting with Kodak management and we would have asked them, what is your role in the business of your consumers? Not what you think you bring to the world. Not think what are the services and products that you give. What is the role? What is the job needs to be done that you are being hired to do according as to the perception and the method of Clay Christensen? What is the job needs to be done that you are being hired to do? And and if this question was asked, and if there was only one person in the room brave enough to say, we are assisting people in creating and, capsulating and capturing the most happiest days of their lives, or the most important memories of their lives, I believe there would have been a shift, a mind shift.
Also,
sorry, just a second, I'll just finish the second. And then hopefully Kodak would have been in a different way, you see? And this relates, this model is totally in line with the concept of asking the more beautiful question. Sorry, you wanted to say something? No.
Sorry for interrupting. Just
no. It's okay. It's okay.
What you said reminded me that I read a research. They talked about these motivations and how they talk about giving motivation to the employee by really thinking about what they are meant to be doing and not in the logistical way. Like,
you're right.
I'm just giving a random example. Like, you're not cleaning the floor. You are creating a wonderful environment, a clean environment.
Right.
All the people that are in this space.
Right. Yeah.
Like giving something that is way beyond like what you are physically doing right now.
You're totally right. You know, one of my teachers said that when he came into one of the offices, there was what we usually call the person, doesn't matter whether it's a woman or a man, that is sitting in the front desk of an office. You know, when you go into a big office and he's sitting in the entrance, how do we call him usually? What is the definition of its occupation, of his profession, you think?
Doorman, secretary?
Doorman, secretary, okay. Great. Other options?
Front desk.
Okay. Front desk, brilliant. You know what was written here? What was on the badge? First impression officer. Brilliant. And if you think about it, it's totally like that, right? Because if you get into an office and there is someone which is very lovely and asking, how are you? How was the trip here? Did you find a place in our parking lot? Was it easier to use the elevator? Can I offer you something to drink? Are you interested in going to our toilet? What do you think about the company? Wow, such a lovely place. If you come in, you know, she says, sit down, we will call you. You want coffee? Oh, well, go and find, there is somewhere there. I can't speak with you right now, I'm busy. What do you think? Not so nice. So I think this very crystallizing the idea of first impression officer. What I urge you to do all the time is to give up on any kind of conviction, of understanding of situations that you have, and try to see it from totally different angles. This is the essence of what we are doing today. Remember that. First impression officer. Okay. And for that, what we usually need to do is what we call radical empathy. Anyone is familiar with this expression, radical empathy? You never heard about it? Okay. Radical empathy comes from psychology. And the idea is that until you put yourself in someone else's shoes, you will never understand where they're coming from. And 2 years after September 11, in one of the TED conference, a psychologist get on the stage in New York, where they had the problem, of course, you know, the terrorist attack. It's not a problem, it's a terrorist attack. And he stands and he says, and he put pictures of children age 5, 6, 7, and so forth that are being drafted by bin Laden. And everybody in the crowd, you know, are getting extremely agitated. And he's telling them, if we want to be able to deal with the problem, we must understand what is happening to this 5, 6, 7 years old that is being drafted to be a soldier against the United States. Why he's willing to do that? Why his family is willing to, you know, send him so gracefully to this military camp at the age of 5. And then he started explaining and describing what are the life of this 5 years old, wherever he was living. Radical empathy is putting yourself in the most hard situations, even in the shoes of your enemy, because only then you can really understand what is their motivation, how you can tackle them, and so forth. Okay, so now I gave you the extreme version, but now I want to show you how it's being done in the financial world in the States. Okay, and I want to go through it very, very briefly because I want to continue. But this is like, for example, finding out what are the 5 pain points. Okay, I don't know whether you are aware of it, but about 60% of the United States population these days they can't cover $400 an emergency sum that they suddenly have to they have to pay to someone. They don't have it. The situation in the United States is very aggravating right now. So what they are doing right now, this kind of company, they are looking and seeing how can we tackle each of these point and give them solutions, okay, that will help them, work properly. And I'm going to give you just one example. Let's assume, and that's it, and I want to then continue, but just to give you an idea. Let's assume my name is Jenny, and I was married when I was 18. I had 5 children. I never had the chance to go to either college or university, and I'm working in Starbucks. I'm earning $6 an hour. And on the way to work, my car broke. I have to go to the garage. They're telling me I have to pay $400 to fix it. And I have to do it because otherwise I don't have a car. I can't go to work. Usually what I would do, I would call this, day loaning companies, which the problem is not the sum, but the interest that they're taking, okay, which is extremely high. And then I listen, I need to have the money now. So they transfer the money to my account. I'm paying to the garage or whatever. And then I continue to go to work. But then I have a problem because the problem is not the $400 I have to pay, but the interest that I have to pay all the time. Sorry. So this was what's happening till now. There was this nice guy, son of immigrants, that used to be an accountant in a company. And every week, people from the company used to come and ask him, can we get, can we get some of the salary, either as a loan or, any kind of agreement that you want to make with us, but we need the money right now. We can't wait till we get the paycheck. We can't wait for the paying day, and we need the check that will come in the end of the month or the middle of it. We need it now. So he went to another company, started working there, and he had the same problem. So then he created a company called Earning. And what is happening right now, instead of me, going and, to this loan in high, interest rate, I became a member of the community of Earning. And when I'm willing to be a part of the community of Earning, I give Earning the possibility to connect to my phone and also to my working place. So next time I'm stuck, my car broke, I'm calling Earning or sending in WhatsApp. Listen, I have a problem. I need right now $400. So they go to my Wi-Fi, my GPS, and they're checking how many days I was at Starbucks this month. And they see that I already earned $2,000, for example. So no worries. They send me immediately the money. No interest. No interest whatsoever. And then, of course, I don't have the problem with, with the sharks and paying, high interest and so forth. How much do you think Earning is taking now? If they're not taking interest, probably you can think, well, they're taking any kind of a fee, right? How much fee do you think they are taking from me? Give me an idea. Let's assume the shark took from me 50%. How much do you think they're taking from me?
3%.
How much?
3%.
Okay, brilliant. More ideas?
Nothing. They're taking nothing
Okay, so how do they make money?
out of the database of people.
Okay, good answer. Other options? Okay. Tal, first of all, this was a very good idea, but they have other ideas. Once I get the money, they write to me, we gave you a service that we know we needed, and we are happy to do that. Are you willing to tip us? Send us a tip. And because I know I used to pay so much, what do? I'm happily giving them a large tip, right? Because I know that they really assist me. And then they show me, because they know the network that I'm in, look, these are also 5 of your best friends who also will assist. Would you like also to assist and give a tip for them? So what is happening? I go to work and I'm standing near my friend Janet and I'm telling her, you know what happened to me today? You know what happened to me? You know, and this is what happened, and learning assist me. So what is happening? Janet says, I want this as well. And we know that the most important battle between the incumbents and the startup is whether the startup will be capable of growing fast enough until the incumbent can create an innovation. So meaning earning is using in a very interesting way the network effect, and they're creating a community. Amazing, huh? So this is just one story of one company.
They make enough money just with tips?
They have but also on top of it, now the companies also want to be involved because it's assisting them, because they don't have to deal. So now companies are coming to them, listen, we don't want to give all these loans. Please take them. Please take our employees and take care of them. Amazing, huh? So they created like a three sides market. Very interesting. Okay. Sorry, I can't do that. We have the presentation. I'm trying to, because we're supposed to finish in 10 minutes and okay. Okay, we talked about that. Okay. I want to talk about at least this. I know we know, hopefully let's try to see at least 2 more tools. One is uncommon partners, uncommon collaborators. What usually is happening in companies, sorry, just a second. When companies are supposed to find collaboration, usually we are looking at collaboration in the first or the second tier from our business. What we find, which is much more interesting, is if you find collaboration with organizations which are far away from your industry, dealing with total different clients. And I just want to give you one example. Low is like our like a Home Depot, okay, or Home Center or whatever. And they wanted to give the customer a different kind of experience. Because when you go to a shop like Home Depot or Home Center, and you're looking, for example, at the painting, okay, you want to paint the walls in your apartment. You can't envision how it's going to look. You want to do something, might be a little bit radical, like, have a pink wall in the kitchen or in your living room or whatever. So they were looking for a partner that will give them the opportunity. So they connected Microsoft, which Microsoft is highly advanced right now with virtual reality and augmented reality. They have very good solutions. And they did it already 10 years ago. And why? So we understand what is the logic of Home Depot or Lowe in this sense. Why should Microsoft be interested in such a collaboration? It's low tech. It has nothing to do with the services they have. What do you think Lowe has that Microsoft doesn't have? and wishes to have. Why Microsoft will agree so happily to this kind of collaboration?
Collect data?
One idea, good. Good. Any more ideas?
Habits.
What?
To learn shopping habits.
Very good idea. Another one? Any more ideas? Microsoft doesn't have any immediate informal contact with their clients. We all deal with Microsoft through the computer, right? We never speak with them, right? We don't know. They don't have too much information. How does the experience in immersing inside their products, and definitely, you know, extended reality devices are definitely an immersive experience. Suddenly they can have it. Also, Microsoft doesn't have any retail ability, right? So for law, it's a hassle to have all this, you know, selling point and to take care of them. But this is exactly what Microsoft wishes she has. Law workers, employees are tired from dealing with customers, with the nagging all the time in the store. Microsoft wishes she has more direct, intimate, informal relationship with the clients. So it's a win-win situation. Always try to look beyond the first and the second tier of your collaborations and go to, and this is a concept that Kyle, which is one of Nile, which is one of my teachers for Singularity, created. He called it Uncommon Partners. This is the name of his company. It's a spin-off of Singularity, and you can read more. And he also, I think he wrote a book about it, just to give you an idea. Okay, I won't go into all these options. Now, regarding this, the last thing I want to talk about is job needs to be done. This is a quote from Ted Levitt, which is one of the most famous business school teachers ever. And he says, no one goes to the house store to buy a quarter-inch drill, right? Go and buy the quarter-inch hole. I think it's a very good one, right? So I think that this is once you, and this is what I'm trying to say, it's the flip side, because, for example, when you talked yesterday about all the products that you talked, I was asking myself, do you really understand either your clients or your customers? Did any of you ever flip the sides and really, did you ever sit in your client's position? The world looks totally different. I must tell you that it doesn't matter for which company, but it's one of the Israeli international companies. I was called by the president and he said, what do you think we should do? I said, well, let's take 5 of your biggest clients, and for a whole day, I want the teams that are dealing with these clients, I want them to tell me not about how does it feel to deal with the client, I want them to be the clients. And we created this flow. And I said, okay, let's talk about what are the main threats and what main opportunity of those clients from their perspective, not from yours, from your organization's point of view. And then let's talk about what they believe are the most important parameters regarding kind of a collaboration or partnership. And then through their eyes, rank your company and your competitors. And then you might find where the risk and where the opportunities. And I think this is crucial, and none of us are doing it. This is crucial. I think we'll stop here because I think it's enough. I think there is enough. There are more information, but I think it's enough, right? You got enough information for today? Are you with me?
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I know, I think it's interesting, the information, but I don't know what everyone else thinks.
Okay, so 5 more minutes because I want you to start working. Okay, so a new business model is just, first of all, this is a very important slide from one of my teacher called, Tufani. He's a genius. He finished a double degree from Harvard and from Stanford, PhD in the same time. And what he says, you remember we talked about Peter Diamandis? He said, if you don't have right now a digital version, connected version of your product, go and do that. He's talking about Uberization, meaning just in time what you want. This is one. This is the second one. The third one is hyper-customized product or service. Okay? I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening today. סליחה, ביקשתי לא להתקשר. אני ביקשתי, הכל טוב, פשוט שתשימו ליד הדלת, בסדר? תודה, תודה. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, do you understand these 3 concepts or should I explain them? Guys, do I understand them or you need me to explain them? Give me a hint.
Can you explain them a little bit more?
Yeah. Okay. Before the corona, when you thought about meeting with your doctor, what do you think about? Getting into the app, you know, signing out an appointment, right? Requesting an appointment with the doctor, right? And going and sitting there for half an hour and waiting because, you know, it's never on time when you go to the doctor's office, right? And this is what you do. What happened with the corona? Are we still doing it?
No, we're talking with the doctor over app, we're texting.
Brilliant.
Online.
Brilliant. So this is moving from analog service to digital, virtual, digital solution. Okay, understood?
Yes.
Okay. Just deliver on time. I'll give you an example. When you travel abroad for a business trip, what we know is that if you had a very, very long trip, you know what is the best solution to make sure that will assist you, you know, not having muscle pain and fatigue and so forth. You know, besides sleeping, what is the best one? Having a massage. Usually at which hours, usually you can get a massage in the hotel? When?
During the day?
Exactly. When you usually need it? When you got exactly. So there is a huge gap between what you need as a customer and so what usually the solutions that are being offered for you. So I can assure you that if right now, if I would have got to any kind of hotel and they will tell me, you have 24 hours a day. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to the amount of massages that this hotel will sell?
Increase.
Great. And if we think about it in terms of Clay Christensen and the concept of what we call competing against non-consumption, because all of us, we don't use massage because we know we don't have it in the right time, right?
Right.
So this, you see, so if you change it, you're really competing against non-consumption. And hyper-customize, okay, what is happening right now when someone gets cancer?
When someone got what? Cancer?
Cancer, yeah, unfortunately. What is really happening? There is a protocol, right? You should have a surgery, then you'll have chemotherapy, radiation, and so forth, right?
Right.
This is based on the idea that one size fits all. But if every body is different than the other one, And each of us is different than each other, meaning also our tumors are different. So what is going to happen if instead of doing this routine and working with this protocol, we will do a total different analysis of the cancer, which we know already that it's genetic mutation usually. And we will find what is the exact mutation that this person has. And we will create for him using biotechnology therapy, a hyper customized process therapy. What do you think are the chances that he will recover? I can assure you much higher. Okay? Or if it's going to be a dress that I'm asking for whatever, or, event I have and so forth.